Welcome back once again, guys. Wanted to do a video here on maybe more a generic topic as far as trucking in general. And this one actually kind of relates maybe a little bit more to over-the-road guys than even to somebody like myself who does a dedicated go-home every day sort of thing. Wanted to talk about your financial institution, pay, all that stuff, and how you have to be careful about your Prime card, your debit cards, your credit cards, stuff like that. The reason that I bring this up is I recently lost my wallet. Completely non-trucking related situation, but when you're over the road especially, for me, getting a replacement CDL, replacement debit cards, replacement everything else that I have in my wallet is a lot easier than if you're over the road and you have to rely on a spouse and all that stuff. But it brought up some interesting things when I went to my bank and all that. It brought up some things that I remembered from 2 years ago about this time when I was starting out, and wanted to touch on a couple of those things. First of all, let's talk about the Prime ID. Mine should be coming in the mail tomorrow. My replacement should be coming tomorrow. Prime will replace your ID free of charge. They will charge you to mail it to you. And Prime, of course, wants you, and you use that, in case you're wondering, if I haven't mentioned it before, you use that to pay for your fuel. So you can't just say, well, I don't need it, it's not a big deal. You're going to use that to pay for your fuel. Even if you're a company driver, you're going to slide that like you're paying with a debit card, credit card, to pay for your fuel. So you're going to need that. You're not going to get very far without paying for your fuel. So you're going to need that card. For me personally, I use it every single day to swipe. There's gates to get into the Prime Decatur tanker terminal here in Indiana. When I drive my personal vehicle in, there's same thing, I have to slide my card, so I use it for that purpose as well. You'll need it in Springfield, Salt Lake City, Pittston. A lot of our other drop yards, things like that, will have a place to slide your card as well. So you've got the dual use for the Prime ID. A lot of guys have probably seen that ID. People have posted pictures. There's two types. There's one that says student driver. It's got a green border. And then there's the regular driver ID or employee ID or associate ID or whatever you want to call it. And those are just like any other company that has an ID. So Prime will replace that for you. Again, they will charge you for it. They don't want to send it out regular mail. They're going to probably, I called on a Friday. I'm going to get it on a Monday. They'll charge me probably whatever the FedEx fee is to mail that. Now, as an over-the-road driver, this is potentially problematic because where are you going to be? Now, when you're talking an overnight service, that's a little bit easier. You may be headed somewhere and you can plan ahead that it will be at a tank wash after your delivery, things like that. But I also want to note that you use it for pay, you use it for paying for fuel, you use it for getting in and out of Prime facilities. A third use for that card, you can choose to have your pay loaded onto your Prime ID. And you can choose to set up your Prime ID like a credit card, where you can go into Walmart and slide that card and pay for items off of your ID. And in fact, until you get direct deposit, you're going to have your card set up that way. You can also then load that money onto what's called a com check, which is something you can get a com check at various places. You can get them at Prime, you can get them at truck stops, and then you can take them to a bank and deposit your money that way. So until you get your direct deposit set up, you're going to have to do it that way. But if you lose your ID, you get your wallet stolen or lose your wallet, you're going to be unable to get paid or use your pay. So keep that in mind. Second thing I want to note about after you've gotten, personally, I get direct deposit. After you get your direct deposit set up, I personally use debit cards for my particular pay. One thing banks have a tendency to do is employ fraud protection, which is got to have fraud protection because you don't want the company thinking, that your money is being spent all over the country. Well, as a truck driver, you're going to be traveling all over the country. And maybe you need to spend $100 to buy groceries in New York State. A day later, 2 days later, you're in Illinois or Missouri. Or if you're in a team truck, 2 days later, you're in Utah, and you spend another $100 because you see something at Walmart that you want to buy. That's going to trigger fraud protection. So you need to have that conversation with your bank that your card will be traveling the country on a regular basis, that you are a truck driver, you're an interstate truck driver. I have told my bank that I go pretty much Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and a little bit into Pennsylvania and New York. If it goes beyond those borders, I might get a fraud protection issue. But that's a conversation that you're going to need to have with your bank. If you lose your wallet while you are out on the road, you're going to need to have a contingency plan. You're going to need to have a spouse, significant other, maybe it's a parent, authorized on some of your accounts to be able to request new cards for you. You need to have a place that those cards can be sent to if you need replacement cards mailed somewhere. So these are things that I just want to mention you need to think about. I'm not saying you need to have solutions in place. I'm not saying you're going to lose your wallet. But it's something that I thought of because I did lose my wallet. Obviously, for me, it's pretty much the same as if somebody lost their wallet while they're at home. On home time, I went to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles here in Indiana, just down the road from where I live. My CDL will be mailed to my house. I have the paper copy replacement, that they give you when you get your new license. I already have my new credit cards in hand. My bank actually prints them in-house, so I've already got my new replacement debit cards. Working on a couple other things that need to be replaced. Obviously, cash, I'm out of luck there. But it's something to at least start thinking about if you're starting to begin the process. If you're applying to trucking companies, if you're applying to Prime, start thinking about what happens if. Also start thinking about talking to your bank and letting them know that you're going to be an over-the-road truck driver and that, hey, you may have a $100 charge here in your home state, and a day or two later, a $100 charge 5 states away, and that's not out of the ordinary. So keep that in mind. Just some thoughts on lost wallets, stolen wallets, and financial institutions. Hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching. If you do want to apply to Prime, link in the description takes you right to the application. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again next week.